Hello everybody, welcome back to our CMA classes. So we are going to resume our law class. Okay, in today's lecture we are going to discuss about the remuneration which is to be paid to the managerial person, and what if there is no profit or inadequate profit in the company. In that case, what should be the remuneration paid to the managerial person. Okay, so let's go. Okay, remuneration of management personnel as per part 2nd schedule 5th. Do you remember about part 1st of schedule 5th? Do you remember? Hope so. Okay, let's go for it now. Part 2nd schedule 5th. Remuneration payable by the company having profit under section 1st part 2nd schedule 5th. Okay, so the company having profit in financial year may pay a remuneration to whom? To managerial person, okay, which should not exceed the limit under section 197. We would also read this section today. Okay, so the company cannot exceed the limit which is prescribed under section 197. If they are exceeding that remuneration which is paid by the company to the manager person, in that case what is going to happen? Definitely we know what is going to happen. We'll discuss it. Okay, remuneration payable by the company if no profit or inadequate profit is given to the managerial remuneration. Okay, under section 2nd part 2nd schedule 5th, where a company has no profit or its profit are inadequate in any financial year, in that case company may pay remuneration to its managerial person as per, let's go for it, remuneration based on effective capital. Now we have to understand this. What is this effective capital, right? Let's mark it out and we'll find out what is the meaning of effective capital. Okay, so effective capital, if the company is having negative effective capital or up to 5 crore, from negative to 5 crore, okay, the limit should not exceed rupees 60 lakh. Okay, and where if the company is having effective capital of 5 crore to 100, the limit would be 84 lakh, up to 84 lakh. Okay, next 100 to 200 crore, if the company is having the 250 crore. Okay, if the company is having effective capital of 100 to 250 crore, in that case the remuneration payable should not exceed the 120 lakh. Okay, next effective capital is more than 250 crore, in that case rupees 1,20,000, 120 lakh is to be given, plus 0.01% of effective capital in excess of 250. Okay, for example, effective capital is 270. Okay, for sure in that case 120 is given, 120 lakh is definitely given, but what are they saying? 0.01% of excess of effective capital, then 250. So what is excess? 20. Okay, 20 crore would be the excess effective capital, and we are going to take the 0.01% of excess amount. Okay, is it clear? Excess capital. So 60, 84, 120 plus 0.01% of excess of effective capital. Okay, now we have to understand the meaning of what are we going to take, what are we going to include in the effective capital. Okay, let's go for it. Effective capital is the aggregate of paid up share capital, share premium account, reserve and surplus, long-term loan, deposit which is repayable after 1 year. Which means, do you remember the temporary loan which is to be paid within 6 months? Remember, right? In remuneration, what were the section? Do you remember about the loan and all, borrowing and all? Okay, so which is not to be taken in that section, right? Of course that would also be not taken in this section. Okay, because they are saying the deposit which is repayable after 1 year, right? Not the short term. They are not talking about the short term. Is it clear? So aggregate, we are going to take the paid up share capital, security, reserve and surplus, okay, share premium account, long-term deposit, long-term loan, deposits which are repayable after the 1 year. Is it clear? And what else are we not going to include in such items? Okay, paid up share capital, we are not going to take the share application amount. We have to exclude this amount. If any of the share application amount is included in the paid up share capital, then we have to exclude it. If any of the advance is received against the share, okay, if any of the amounts is received against the share, again it's to be excluded, okay, excluded. Okay, what about the share premium account? In that case, we are not going to take the revaluation reserve, okay, we are not going to take the revaluation reserve. In long-term loan, working capital loan, overdraft, interest due on loan unless funded or bank guarantees, okay, or short-term arrangement, we are not going to take these, we have to exclude this. Okay, this was the thing which we have to exclude from the aggregate of paid up share capital, security, share premium account, reserve and surplus, and what, long-term loans. Is it clear? But there are something which we have to exclude, okay, and that is the aggregate of any of the investment, okay, which is aggregate of any of the investment, accumulated loss, okay, and preliminary expenses which is not written off, Is it clear? So this is the how we have to calculate the effective capital. So by these things we are going to get the effective capital, total amount of effective capital. Okay, let's go for what if what I told you, that if the company is not having the profit or having inadequate profit, in that case company have to pay this amount, okay, this amount. This is to, what is this? This is the remuneration which is to be paid to the managerial person, okay. But what if company paid excess of this amount, which is mentioned in this part? Which part? Section second, let's go for it again. Section second, part second, schedule 5th. Section second, part second, schedule 5th. Okay, is it clear? Yes. But what if the company have given excess of this amount? In that case, special resolution is to be passed by the shareholder. ठीक है, special resolution is to be passed by the shareholders. Okay, condition for payment of remuneration, section second, part second of 5th. So what are the conditions which is written in this part? The remuneration paid to the managerial person is to be approved by board first of all. ठीक है, definitely board is going to give the approval. Then by nomination and remuneration committee. Do you remember what is this? We already read this, right, in very first chapter, है ना? Very first chapter we have completed about the nomination remuneration committee, everything about it. ठीक है, so remuneration is to be paid to whom? To whom? This managerial person is to be approved by board first of all. Second, nomination remuneration committee. ठीक है, the company has not committed any default in payment of dues to whom? Bank, public financial institution, non-convertible debenture holder or other security creditor. Okay, what if the company have committed default in payment of making payment of these मतलब following people, ठीक है, people I mean bank, public financial institution all, ठीक है. In that case, if approval of bank or PFI or non-convertible debenture, any other secured creditor is to be taken, ठीक है, approval is to be taken. But when this approval is to be taken? Before obtaining approval in the general meeting. Do you understand what I said? In the very first thing what we have said, that if the remuneration is paid in excess of its above limit, like let me go back, है ना? For example, the company is having negative effective capital and the company have paid 70 lakh to whom? To the manager person. ठीक है, what is going to happen? First of all, what the law is saying, they cannot pay excess of this prescribed amount. ठीक है, but if the company already paid the excess amount, in that case the company have to take the permission from whom? Permission from the shareholder by passing the special resolution, right? But before taking the special by approval of members, before taking the approval of this member, they have to take the approval of these, है ना? If the company have made default in payment of dues to bank, public financial institution, convertible, non-convertible debenture holder and other security creditors, secured creditors. ठीक है, if the company have made default in making dues to these people, then of course the company have to take the approval from them first, then they have to take the approval from the members. Is this clear? Hope this part was clear now. ठीक है, हाँ, if such default is made, yes, I have read this, approval of bank, PFI or non-convertible debenture or any other secured creditor is to be taken, but when? Before obtaining approval in the general meeting. ठीक है, okay. Statement given to shareholder shall contain general information about appointee, any other information, and disclosure is to be mentioned in the statement. Okay, and I'll tell you, let's go for the other thing which is mentioned in section 197. Okay, so this is the thing which is again saying about the remuneration. Remember when we started part 1st of what? Schedule 5th. ठीक है, part 2nd, section 2nd of schedule 5th, what they said that the company have to follow the things which is written under 197 about the remuneration which is to be paid to the managerial person, right? So we are going to discuss now what are the prescribed remuneration which is written in this section, which is to be paid to directors, manager and all. ठीक है, let's go for it now. Total manager remuneration which is respect of any financial year, which is paid to whom? Directors and manager, which should not exceed 11% of net profit. Is it clear? When the total, I'm talking about the total, ठीक है, not talking about the individual person here, ठीक है, total amount, total manager remuneration paid to whom? Directors, managers, ठीक है, in respect of any financial year. And what should be the limit? Should not exceed 11% of net profit. Is it clear now? Yes. What if the manager remuneration exceed this amount, this percentage, then of course approval by member is taken. But is it the ordinary resolution or the special resolution? It would be the ordinary resolution. Again, let's rewind. Total manager remuneration which is paid to directors, manager, but in any financial year should not exceed 11% of what? Net profit. What if it exceeds? Then the approval of member is to be taken in by passing the ordinary resolution. ठीक है? Hope this part was clear to you. And what if remuneration of full-time director, managing director and manager? Earlier we talk about whom? Directors, manager. Now we are going for director. Which director? Full-time director, manager and MD. These three people. ठीक है? Should not exceed 5% of net profit if there is only one of them. ठीक है? Suppose if there is only manager in the company, in that case the remuneration should not exceed 5%. Total remuneration should not exceed 5% of net profit. What if there is more than one? ठीक है, more than one. For example, what we said, at the same time we cannot appoint manager and whom? And manager and MD, right? We cannot appoint these two at the same time. Is it clear? Yes, we have discussed this in the very first chapter or very first lecture of this chapter. ठीक है? So, हाँ. So 5% was the limit for only if one of them is appointed. But if two of them is appointed, what if full-time director and manager are appointed at the same time? Okay, the law is not saying that these two people cannot be appointed at the same time, right? So what should be the limit, right? 10% of net profit. If there is, this is more, okay, more than one WTD, MD, manager taken together. ठीक है, in that case what is going to be the limit? 10%. ठीक है, what if the person is only one among these three? In that case, ठीक है, 5%, then 10%. Okay, but what if the limit exceeds? Okay, there is a solution for every problem, right? Here are solution. Approval of company in general meeting is to be taken by passing a special resolution. So we have special resolution here. Remember, ordinary resolution is to be taken in which place? Ordinary resolution is to be taken in this part where 11%, if the remuneration exceeds 11%. Is it okay? Okay. So remember this, only at one place there is only ordinary resolution is to be passed, otherwise we are going for special resolution. Okay. So let's go for it. Remuneration exceeding the limit may be paid if approval of companies in general meeting is taken by passing which special resolution. Okay. Okay. Prior approval, again same thing is coming. Prior approval of bank, PFI, okay, convertible debenture or the secured creditor is to be taken. But when company has default in making payment of dues among these peoples, okay, again the same thing is repeating before obtaining approval in the general meeting. Means before taking approval of members in general meeting, the company have to go with whom first? Here the company will go for taking prior approval of bank, public financial institution, non-convertible debenture or any other secured creditors. Okay? So first of all, if any dues is the payment of dues is defaulted by the company, in that case first of all the company have to take the approval from these people. Okay? Then they'll go with the approval of members. Okay? The same thing is mentioned here. Okay? Okay. Let's go for the other thing. In very first thing what we discussed, 11%, right, is to be given to whom? Directors, manager. It should not exceed 11%, but if it exceed, we are going for ordinary resolution. Okay, again. Okay, what if there is managing director and manager in the company? In that case we are going for 5 and 10%. 5% if there is only one people among these three. Okay, but what if there are more than one? In that case we'll go for 10%. And what if the amount exceed, the manager remuneration exceeds these limit which is already mentioned in section 197, we'll go for special resolution. But before taking special resolution we have to take the approval from whom? Approval from bank, public financial institution, non-convertible debentures, other secured creditors. But in which case if the company have made default in making payment of dues, okay, in that case then the company will go for special resolution. Okay, okay. Now remuneration of other directors. So these were the things which we mentioned, the remuneration paid to manager, managing director and director. But what about the other? There would be other directors now. So let's go for it now. Who is director? Who is not a managing director? Who is not a this is not. Take care. Who is not a managing director, who is not a full-time director, who is not a manager? In that case, one person of net profit. If the company employed MD, WTD and manager, if there is already manager, if there is already WTD, full-time director, if there is already manager, managing director, okay, in that case company would pay 1% of net profit to the other directors. But what if there is none of them, none of full-time director, none of manager or managing director? In that case what would be the limit? 3% of net profit. 3% of net profit if the company has not employed MD, WTD, manager. In that case the other directors would get 3% of the net profit. Now again the same thing, what would if the amount exceeds this percentage? In that case, same thing is going to be repeated, right? Approval by member is to be taken by passing special resolution. Yes, approval from whom? Bank, public financial, non-convertible and other secured creditability is to be taken. But when? Before taking special resolution, only when if the company have made default in making payment of dues. This part is clear. Okay. Now tell me, is the sitting fees which is given to the directors to attend board meeting is included in remuneration or not? No. Okay? The sitting fees which is given to as remuneration which is given to the directors to attend the board meeting, right? That is not to be included in their remuneration. ठीक है, let's go for it. The remuneration paid to director shall be excluded. Okay, shall be excluded. Okay, so what are the modes of determination of remuneration? By article of the company, by passing ordinary resolution, ठीक है, by passing special resolution. So do you think board is having the power? No, board has no power to fix or determine the remuneration of directors here. ठीक है, okay. What if any person make contravention in this section? In that case, same penalty. Do you remember this penalty? Any person make default will liable to pay 1 lakh rupee penalty. ठीक है, any company who make default would liable to pay penalty of 5 lakh. ठीक है, so that's it for today's guys. So let's rewind what we already read in this lecture. We read about the, as per section 197, we have to pay the remuneration to the directors. Which directors? 3 directors, and other than that, what were the limit? Do you remember the limit? 11%, right? 5, 10%, again 1 and 3%. Okay, 11% was given to the directors, manager, ठीक है, again 5 and 10 was given to if they was or they was not, हाँ, ठीक है, then again 1 and 3. Remember the criteria which was mentioned? ठीक है, this part was clear. And what if limit exceeds, special resolution is to be taken, prior permission is to be, ठीक है, याद है, everything है ना, सब कुछ याद है अपने को. Next, remuneration payable is to be if there is no profit or inadequate profit. Remember effective capital, right? 60, 84, 120 plus 0.01% of excess of effective capital. And what was the meaning of effective capital? Remember, and we have to exclude something. Mainly you have to remember this thing, है ना, and small things do matters a lot, so you have to keep everything in mind. Okay, so I guess today's lecture is up to this, and if it was useful, then hit like button, subscribe my channel. Hope you get something. ठीक है, so we'll meet in our next video, next session, next lecture. Till then, this is Soumya Santosh, guys. Toodles.